Hey folks, it's Benita. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the last 6 of our pages. So we are on page 7. So here we go. So page 7 has 2 flaps that open to the right. We have a smaller one, and then we have a larger one. And then our base page has a pocket off to the side here. Okay, so here we go. So we have our base page, which is 8 by 8. We have our first middle flap, which is 8 1/4 by 6 1/4, scored at 7 1/2 and 7 5/8. We have our next top flap to the right, which is 8 by 4 1/4, scored at 7 and 7 1/4. That gives you a 1/4 inch gusset, and this one we're going to put on first. We then have our large pocket, which is 3 1/2 by 9, and again we're going to score 3 sides at a 1/2 inch. Deco punch our top, and then cut our corners off. We do have one photo mat in here, and then we have our paper, which you've already cut out from your layout pieces. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach our pocket on here first. So we're going to make sure that that's going to go. This one goes to this side. It kind of looked like it wasn't even, but I guess it is. Oh, I'm getting old, I guess. It kind of looked out of whack. Okay, so I'm going to scribble my glue on the bottom, and I'm going to put this up here on the side. Burnish that down really well. Open that up. Then we're going to do our side of our pocket. Side of our pockets. I'll put my pin and my glue. I hope you guys got the first 6 pages done. I had a few minor little blips, and I apologize for that. So hopefully you worked through that and forgive me for that. Oh my gosh, sometimes I just get going and talking and not paying attention to what I'm doing. Okay. Now, we are going to first attach, and this is bizarre, we're going to first attach this top one because it has a 1/4 inch gusset. Okay? So, we are going to, again, we're just going to center this on here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just center it on there. A good burnish, and that's got the 1/4 inch gusset. That's why it's going to go on first. Okay. Then we're going to take our bigger middle pocket and we're going to put that on now. And that's going to come in just a hair when we put it in there, because remember, if we put it right up, well, you know, we can put this one right up against it. Not quite, just a hair away from that first one. Just a hair. Burnish that down. My pin's getting bent, so it's hard to do it with one-handed. So there, we're ready to decorate. Now, before I forget, as I did on the last one, we're going to go ahead and attach our photo mat right away. I was not looking at my mock-up on the other one. So we're going to go ahead and attach, this is 6 1/8 by 4 1/8, and we're going to attach that. Well, is this not straight? So one moment. This photo mat is not straight, and that is not cool. Or my paper isn't straight. One of the two. 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. That is just crazy as all get out. 4 1/8 by, I don't know why. If this is 4 1/4 and 4 1/4, I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches because it's just a tad bit tight. Or 4 1/16, I guess. I'm going to cut it down to the hair off here. So if yours is a little bit tight, just cut it down just a tad bit. So we are going to put this, and we're going to leave a spot right here. And this spot, we will put decorative paper in there when we come back around at the end when we're decorating our photos. Okay, so I made this 6 1/16, by the way, because it was just a little tight on my paper. So my big fat chocolate lab just came in here, and I'm assuming he needs fed, and he's going to have to get fed by his dad, my husband, because I am busy. So hopefully my husband can hear me talk, and he maybe will come in and get him. So there's that. And then let's look at what paper we have. So let's go fill in the inside first, because that's our biggest piece, which is this. It's 6 by 7 3/4. And that is going to go right there. Hope you guys are having a good day. It's beautiful sunshiny in Montana in October, which is so cool. It's beautiful. Lift that pocket up, and we're going to just slide that right inside there. See, we don't have a whole lot of magnets. We are going to use magnets in here, but we don't have a whole lot, because when I design these, if you design the pages on the right place, you don't need magnets to keep things in place. Okay. Let me see here. This is going to go here in the blue, and I'm going to trim this just a little bit too. It is 7 1/4 by 6, but I'm going to cut off just a 1/16 of an inch as well, just a hair off, because it's again a little bit tight. Whoa! Sorry about that, folks. My dauber just went flying. So sometimes if you cut your paper just a hair off, you know, always feel free to trim off a little bit. Don't feel that you can't do that. Glue that. Put that down there. Checkers. Just one moment. Rick, could you get checkers, please? This paper, once again, you can use either side. We're going to use this pink one. I cut mine wrong, as you see my tape right here, so that's going to have a beautiful strip on it. This is our pocket. It goes right on there. This is 2 inches by 7 3/4. Excuse me for yelling at my husband. My dog either has to go to the bathroom, or he hears something outside and he's getting agitated. It's time for his dinner, and he doesn't like to wait. Okay. So this piece right here, again, you can use the pink is what I said that we were going to use. And this top one is going to be this. Make sure you get it going the right direction. And I'm going to open this up so I don't... and this is 6 3/4 by 4 inches. When you get your pieces, your designer papers, you will already have the sizes on them, and it will be very easy to figure out what goes where. So I won't repost those up in the words, on the video itself, because you should be able to determine that. But the cardstock papers will be on there. Okay. So this right here, again, we can do this, but I had it set for this. But I think I'm going to do this, to tell you the truth, because I cut mine wrong, and I would rather put a strip down here than on here, because it really shows. So I am going to ink my edges on it really quick. So this is 7 1/4 by 6. So you can use this side or the pink side. And I was going to use the pink side until I cut it wrong. Yours will be cut correctly. Mine just is not cut correctly. So I am going to go ahead and glue that down. So the cool thing about double-sided paper is as you design and as you put your album together, it's okay to change your mind. I'm going to leave that tape on there. It's okay to change your mind as to what's going to go where. Because as you start putting it together, you might think, oh my gosh, that looks more beautiful like that than with the pink paper. Okay. Let me put this on there. So in the finished piece, you will see a piece of gold strip right down there because I cut mine wrong. Okay, there you go. Page 7. Isn't that cool? This stuff is so stunning, beautiful, and the white paper really makes it stand out. Okay, moving right along to page 8. Page 8 is a really cool page as well. Again, let me know, do you guys like having the mock-up so you can actually see what it looks like before we start for that page so you can remember? Let me know. So page 8, again, we're going to open and open. Okay. Isn't that cool? So this, I will put designer paper on these, but on these ones, I will not. These will be strictly for photos. I am not planning on putting a black photo mat on them because it would make it heavy. But after I get it all together, we'll take a peek and see how that's going to work. Okay. So let's see what we have here. We have our base page. We have our pocket. And we have, oh, excuse me, this is going to go inside of here that you'll have your photos on that you'll be able to pull out. And that you need my circles, which I don't know where my circles are at. I had 2 circles, so we are going to get my circle punch. So I will have that. Okay. So when we build this, we have our 2. So our pocket is 7.5 by 5.5. We've scored on 3 sides, Deco Punch the top, cut the corners off, and that is going to go down here. We're not going to glue it on yet. We also then have our photo layouts, which are going to be 7.5 by 5, and you're going to score at 3 1/4, 3 3/8, 6 5/8, and 6 3/4, and that gives you all the gussets that you need. And you're going to do that to both of them. Now, what we're going to do is, this is going to be important. We're going to trim down these pockets, and we are going to, this is going to go underneath here, okay? And we're going to actually put that on before we put the pocket down, okay? And I guess I should not have trimmed it until after I got that on there. So we're going to go ahead and I want to trim this a little bit. And I'm going to trim this a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add our glue. And we're going to put that right up to that first score line. So you'll have that, it'll look like you have an 1/8 inch, well, you will have an 1/8 inch gusset. Make sure you burnish that down well, and make sure it didn't glue down in here. So make sure that you did not get any glue. So if you can do it, open it up right away, or you can put that in as you go to do it. Okay, let's put these in my little bucket. We have our other side that we're going to do. Again, I'm going to trim a little off of here and a little off of here. And this is going to go on like this. These sides are exactly the same, so it doesn't matter. And that's going to get glued right here. Just remember, let's put that piece of plastic right in there so we don't accidentally get glue where we shouldn't. just hard to hold that plastic in place while you put that on there. Because this is also pretty wide right here, so put that plastic in there so we don't get any glue where it's not supposed to be. Okay, but it's important to trim those corners down, otherwise it's super hard to get our photo mat in there. Okay, burnish that down good. Let me open it up to make sure that we're not sticking, because there's glue, because this is an overhang. So make sure that you've done that, and then we're going to let that dry for just a minute. Okay, and this is going to be our mechanism like that. We actually are going to fold it in like that. Make sure that glue is good and dry before you do anything else. So, okay, now what I want you to do first and foremost is on your decorative paper that we have our bottom piece that's cut, that is 6 1/4 by 5 1/8. And what I want you to do, and then we have our two side pieces, which are 1/2 inch by 7 3/4 and a 1/2 inch by 7 3/4. So really what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you put those on first, which I typically don't do, but it is imperative that we get these in the right place for our pockets. So I did not get these inked up. So let's quickly ink these up. And as you know, as I ink these, you can see how I do that. I just go around, and again, I normally, remember, I use vintage photo a lot, but I did not want vintage photo on this, and so I used this beautiful spun sugar, which is really light color, and it goes perfectly with this paper. I'm going to do this one as well. So again, typically I don't do this, but we need to make sure that if we put the pocket down and it's off and not in the right location, we would be in trouble. So we're going to put the sides on first, and I thought I cut these two apart. Yep, so this one goes here. Doesn't really matter because you can't really tell because they are going to be separated, but I cut those apart as you'll see in the paper layout. And I'm just going to, what the heck? I forgot to trim these to 7 3/4. Well, that is not the coolest thing. They were just a tad bit too long, and that will not work. Okay, let me re-glue that one. So be sure to trim that down to 7 3/4. I don't know why I had it cut 8 inches. And we are just going to center that, top and bottom. And center that, top and bottom. And then this one is going to go down here, and we're just going to kind of center that on as well. I guess I could have cut that one just a little bit longer, but it's just going to go right down there. It's okay to have, you want to have white space around all your pieces kind of equally. So I'm going to line this one up. I'm going to center it so the white is centered, but I also want it to kind of mimic where, or equal where these ones are. And I'm going to burnish those all down. Now we will be able to put our pocket down and not have any problems about where it's going to go. Okay, because there's a lot of pull on this one, I do want to put some score tape on these pockets, not on the bottom, but on the sides, because we are going to be having a photo mat in there, and I don't want the photo mat to have any problems. So I'm going to score tape this pocket down. Again, only because of the, I don't know, torque, if that's what you call it. I'm not exactly, I am mathematical, but I'm not, physics and I did not get along, but mathematics and I are super, super cool. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put score tape. And score tape. We're going to burnish those down. Okay, so we're first going to go ahead and adhere our, make sure these don't overlap, you guys. This one overlaps just a hair. And make sure that your, these do not overlap. Okay. When they overlap, it makes bulk, and we don't want that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue the bottom of our pocket down. So we're going to scribble our glue. Scribble, 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 scribble. So my granddaughter that I see often, she's with me often. About half the time she's at my house. She has discovered the hot glue gun and absolutely loves it. She calls me after school and says, Nana, can I use the hot glue gun? So she has made some fun creations. Okay, so I'm going to adhere that down. Pull these open so you can do that. Okay, so now we're going to have to do these sides at the same time. So take off your score tape. And we are still going to put glue on them. Because remember, we want the ability to control where we put them in case we have a problemo. Just put a little bit of glue down there. Not a lot, just a little bit. And we are going to then close this up. And before we burnish it hard, we're going to Is that not cool or what? Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so cool. Okay, now we have our top piece, which is going to tuck right down in there. And again, we have our white gaps here and here, and that's why I left the gaps down in here, because they're going to emulate what's up here. And I did not ink this page. I don't know what I was thinking. I did not ink this page. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this one in. Hold open your pocket here, grab it and hold it open. And then you can get that down in there. Burnish that down. Isn't that gorgeous? This piece is going to go right here. And again, this is 6 1/4 by 4. This was a 6 1/4 by, I'm not sure, probably 2 1/2 or 2 3/4. Again, it would be on your cutting. It's on your cutting guide already for your decorative paper. I don't know. I guess comment, would you like to have your whole, well, I'm going to give you the cutting guides for your cardstock, which you can cut, but I will also have your cardstock sizes as each page will be on the actual screen. I don't like to have so many pages around because then it kind of gets like a mess. Okay, so that piece goes there. Isn't that gorgeous? This is such fun paper. And that is going to go right on there. burnish that down. Okay, now before I go on, before we put these pieces down, we have magnets, and I am not going to forget my magnets again. So our closure for magnet is going to be this piece that says hello, and it's about 3 3/4 by 1 7/8. And we're going to put that on a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 2 1/8. And so that's just going to get centered on there. And we're going to put the magnet actually underneath this first. So we're going to go grab 2 of our magnets. We need 1, 2. So this is our second set of magnets. Remember, we have 5. And this is going to be laid in here. And so let's just mark a 2-inch mark on our paper. And our magnet's going to go over here somewhere. Okay. So remember, we'd like to have it a finger width away. I know that last page we were unable to do that because because of the size of it. But we're going to go ahead and put this magnet down right here. And we are going to grab our score tape. You think I'm going to learn about these magnets to get to remind. You know, when I'm not on live, I don't have problems with my magnets. My mother does, and she'll probably be laughing when she watches this. My mom often will put her stuff down before magnets, and I typically don't do that, but I've done that now for you guys, I think twice, and I'm sorry, but it's hard to do this when you're live and trying to create all at the same time. Okay, so I just put a piece of score tape on here as well, and I'm going to put one more back here a little bit. Okay. Sorry, I try not to make my space so messy, but it doesn't always happen. And we will get that score tape off here. And we're going to put glue all around it. Put dot glue on your tape there. I'm going to put this on here. Close that magnet. Again, oh my God, glue all over my hands. We are going to then put on just the left-hand side of our decorative paper. And it's going, so while you have it closed, let's open it. So it's open like this, fold it in, fold it in. And what I want you to do is I want you to put 2 X's there. That's the pages that are going to have your decorative paper. Okay. So again, we have it open, fold in, and this is where your decorative paper is going to go. And the reason I say that is because I'm going to go ahead and lay this flat while I put this decorative paper on. These papers are the same, and I don't know if they went side by side. They did, but it's really not going to matter. But I'm going to go ahead and put this one on where I have my X. See, the reason I had you do that is because you've been prompted to put it here, and we don't want it there. We want it right here. So your extra paper that you have, we can make photo mats. We can do all kinds of things with it. So we will, when we wrap up, you will see, and also in my reveal, you would have seen some photo mats and things like that. So we will build those throughout at the end. Okay, so let me just put my lid back on my glue for a minute. Okay, so now we are going to adhere this hello to this side right here. And this magnet is going to go on this one, on the right-hand side one. So you will be able to open that up to do that. So what we want to do is we kind of want to go, and I would make a mark like 1 3/4, 1 3/4, and draw a line. And that is going to be to the left. That's under the word H-E, he, okay? And we're going to score tape that because that is really what we're going to put down on our left-hand side there. Well, if I can find my score tape. You know, I keep forgetting I have this cool thing my mom got me. And there you go. There we go. And I'm just going to put 2 smaller pieces in there. Now you can put a very small mark, which you'll want to erase, right at 2 inches. Let's burnish this. So we'll know right where the middle is at. Again, remember, all my supplies are from Jana's Hobbies. I hope you have called and ordered all your stuff from them. They will have everything for this album. Okay, so I'm just going to pay attention. And the reason I didn't want it all the way over is I didn't want any chance of sticky tape getting over here. So I'm just going to center this, and I'm going to line up my 2-inch mark. I'm going to then open this up so I can give that a good burnish. And I'm going to erase my little tick mark where I had my little tick mark there. Close that back up. I'm going to grab my second magnet and I'm going to hit it on there. Now we will come back here, and when we, again, as we wrap things up, we will put a decorative piece of paper right here, just because. We don't have to, but I probably will. Whoops, that was kind of, did you see that? I'm not a basketball player. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we're going to put our little trick, glue on our magnet. I'm going to close this, hold that down, and that's stuck. That's pretty cool. Again, we're going to put score tape over that, and I always score tape on either side of it because that's what keeps our magnet from going. And I don't think I need any score tape on my actual paper because that's pretty much in the middle of my piece here. I'm going to open this up. These are 3x4. Make sure you put this on with the words going the right way. It's kind of hard because the it's super light print, and whoops, forgot to take off my score tape stuff. I always put glue on my stuff there, and again, we're just going to center that down there. I just want to make sure it's kind of matching that other one. And when you burnish it, make sure you be careful about the magnet so that you don't like rip your paper through. And I forgot to turn that under. Look at that. Is that not cool? So you'll open this up and you'll have photos and photos. Cool, huh? Okay, the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to complete our piece that goes down inside here. Okay, so we have a 6 1/4 by 4 3/4, and we're going to have 2 1-inch circles, and we're just going to glue it in the middle. And you can, if you want, it'd be 3 1/8 is the center, so that's pretty close. You're going to put these circles on first. If you want, and you have a 7/8 punch circle punch or 3/4 circle punch, you can also put decorative paper on here, but I'm going to leave mine white. And we are going to put a photo mat on here. So this black photo mat, which again, it is 6 1/8 by 4 1/8, and that is actually going to go right, and we want it to go right up to the top, you guys. Well, with a little bit of white showing, but I don't want you to center it. Well, you can. I guess that's not true. You can if you want. I am going to put mine right up so we have just a little bit of white, about the equal amount of white on these three sides. And you guessed it, when we come back to finish up our pages, we will put a strip of paper right here. Okay, and this just goes right in there. Again, so you could put a decorative piece of paper in there, and I might when we come back. We'll see how that goes. And actually could be a 1-inch one as well and cover the whole thing. Isn't that stellar? Look at that. Nice. Okay. Whoops. Did we put page 8 and with an arrow? Moving right along to page 9. Let's see what 9 is cooking up for us. Get this stuff out of the way. Page 9 has flaps on two sides. We have one on the right side that is smaller, that will have a photo mat inside of it. And then we have a larger one on the left-hand side that will open up. And then we also have another one on the right that will open up as well. And this, the left one goes on top, and that's important because we are going to put a magnet on there. Okay, so let's see what we've got. We have our 8x8 base paper. We have our left flap, which is 6 3/4 by 8 inches. It's scored at 6 and 6 1/8. We'll put a magnet on there. We have the first flap for the middle flap for the right hand side, which is 6 3/4 by 8, the same size as your left one. Score at 6 and 6 1/8. We have then the top flap that is going to be 8 by 4.5, scored at 7 1/8 and 7 1/4. And we are going to put that right on top of this one. We're not going to wrap that around. We're going to set that one right on top of here. We also have a couple pockets, which I forgot to show you on. On the long sides, there are pockets on those. And those pockets are both 3 1/4 by 9. 3 1/4 by 9. And again, we're going to score 1/2 inch all the way around, cut off your corners, and deco the edge. Okay. And this is our photo mat that we're going to have. So let's get our stuff built. So we can go ahead and, I didn't ink this one. I'm like, that's why I have my ink out, because I thought I had inked most things, and I did most things, but I didn't get them all. Okay, so let's first put our left pocket on, and we're just our basic scribble our glue. And put this pocket on. Burnish it down. Okay, then we're going to put our right flap on the same way. I didn't ink this one either on this side. On white, if you're going to ink your edges, to me, you need to ink all the way around. It's just my preference. You don't even have to ink your paper if you don't want to. It does take extra time. So as you're building these pages throughout, I'm sure you're pausing them as if you're going to ink your stuff. That's what it's all about. That's why it's cool to have it on video and not live, because you can't pause me when we're live. You can try, but yes. And today, I don't often. I also teach quilting, and I teach quilting, and this on that morning I usually have a energy drink from the coffee shop, and today I had one, and it's a little it makes me a little like, wow. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, before we put this one on, let's put our pockets on first. So let's open them up, and so our pockets are going to go on each side. You see that? So we're going to go ahead and line that up. Put our We're going to put our bottom or this long flap on first. We're going to glue that one on first. It's always easier to glue the long one on first. Get that lined up. Burnish. Burnish. And then we'll do our sides. Do my sides. Just press them down with your fingers, and then we're going to do that. I'm a craftaholic. Comment, let me know. Are you guys craftaholics? I have every room in our house has something of my crafting in it. My husband just kind of, thank God, goes with the flow because that's just my personality and I love it. I have a busy job, and this is doing my crafting, whether it's album making, quilting, knitting. It makes me super comfortable and relaxed, and so I really, that's one of the things, that's why I do it. It helps me be a better person because sometimes I get cranky. So I'm just going to kind of push those down. Okay, so we got those on. And then we're going to put our right pocket on, and it's going to just go in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and it's going to go to that first score line on there, and we're just going to center it. So we're going to scribble our glue on there. As you notice, most of my pieces that we use to put glue on to adhere to are about a 1/2 inch. I like to have them a 1/2 inch. Sometimes I get them a little bit smaller than a 1/2 inch, and that's okay. But when you get them a 1/2 inch or 5/8 inch, depending on how you have your cutting, I like it because it gives it adheres it really good. Okay, so I don't mess this one up, we're going to put the magnet on first. So the magnet's going to go on this piece of paper and this one. So we want to put it on this one first. So we're going to open that up. Grab our 2 magnets. And we should have 2 sets left. Should have 2 sets left. I wonder, I am missing a magnet, so I wonder if I put a double magnet on something. Well, that's not super cool. So we're going to put it on here. Oh gosh, I can't get a hold of it. And remember, we wanted about a finger width away from, and so we wanted a finger width away from our decorative edge there. I'll have to find where I put my magnet. It's hard to say. It's probably missing. It's with a paper friend that was missing from one of the pages I did on my first set. I still haven't found that, you guys. Okay, so then we're going to grab the second magnet. Put that down. And we're going to put glue on it. And close that baby up. And do that. You know, it's crazy as the magnets have been staying because typically they don't, so that's super cool. We put our score tape on it there. And we'll be using that butterfly punch I showed you in the beginning. We'll be using that for our decorative stuff. I have 2 butterfly punches I'm going to use. That are really cool. Whoops, want to be careful about this because I wasn't ready to take that off. So our outside pages are both the same. They are 5 3/4 by 7 3/4, and because I took that tape off, we're going to go ahead and put this one on right now so I do not get it stuck to anything. And make sure you get your glue towards the edge, and that's why I scribble it towards the edges there. Make sure your paper's on right side up because it's hard to tell which is right side up with some of these. Some of them it doesn't matter. Be careful when you're doing this that you don't wipe out your magnet. Make sure that works. Okay, let's go ahead and adhere this one. Again, those two pieces are exactly the same size because those flaps were exactly the same size. I always like to create a page in my album that shows one of the beautiful spreads of your paper. Sometimes there are words that go across the whole 12 by 12 piece of paper. So it just depends on what the paper has to offer. And so I normally have this type of page in all of my albums. So hope you don't mind that. I try to vary it a little bit, but the reason is because we have this big piece right here, which is 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and it encapsulates all of that. And then these are the two sides. And what I want to show you is really was the 12 by 12 paper was like this. And however, what I didn't want to do was if I did that, then and I put that into the pockets, I would lose that. So what I did is I'm going to switch them around, so then we put them in, then this will all show as well. So again, the paper was like this, and we're moving them like that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this big one down. So that is the big spread, but again, I kind of maneuvered it to a little bit to catch the sides of it because that paper is so cool. And I'm just going to center that. I'm going to burnish it down. Again, I hope you guys know by now all about the burnishing. That is what makes things go well. So this is 4 by 7 3/4. And so when you put this, I'm going to move this flap out of the way because of that magnet. When this one goes in, look at how cool that is, you guys. Isn't that not awesome? Okay, so let's put this one down. Again, I try really hard to work the paper for you guys so that you don't have to guess about what would be cool here and there. And so I hope you appreciate and like what I've done. That way it takes all the guesswork out for you. Look at that. Cool beans. Okay, so let's do this one over here. Again, this is 4 by 7 3/4. And again, those are, you already have those sizes on there. And again, as I instructed when you're cutting out your layouts, leave your sticky notes on there to say what size they are, because that way you're going to know. And I wouldn't write them on the paper because remember, sometimes you might want to, when you get going, you might want to change the other side because there's nothing saying that yours has to match exactly mine, and maybe you want to put the other paper in there. Careful because you have your magnet on this one, so be careful about doing that. Okay, now we have our two pieces that are going to go on our pockets. Is that not breathtaking? Oh my gosh, you guys. Holy smokeroonies. Okay, this is one that we cut with this light paper up, but there was an asterisk on it that says we're going to use the other side. So this one goes right on here. Sometimes I don't get that so straight, but that's why with the glue you have an opportunity to maneuver it for just a short minute, because this glue is like the best glue ever. Totally the best glue ever. And we're just going to put this one down. And again, remember, I use this punch and it has about 3/4 of an inch depth. If you don't use this punch and it has like a 1/2 inch, your whites are going to be a little bit bigger, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I highly encourage you to get this punch because we'll be using it over and over again because it is breathtaking. Okay, look at that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put the photo mat on here. Again, this is a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And that's going to go on here, and that fits perfectly on there. Okay, so we want to take off this score tape before we get the glue down. Pokey tool out of the way. I love my pokey tool, by the way. My mom uses an X-Acto knife to take her papers off. I would probably stab myself. She's good at it, but I am not. Okay, so I put glue on my tape as well. Careful of your magnet. I got some glue right there, which I will just use an eraser to get. Okay, I'll take care of that later. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and open this, and we're going to put our last piece on. It goes like this. This one might run just a tad bit longer, you guys, but I want to wrap up the pages. So hopefully you guys can hang 10, or you can always pause it and come back to it. But I am going to put the rest of the pages on that. Okay, let's see how we're at here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that spread. That is stunning. Okay. Ooh, our pages are so pretty. You know, again, I designed these and I don't actually have them made with the paper until I build it with you. And so it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, we are on, whoops. Gosh, you guys, I don't know why you're making me forget. We want to make sure we just did page, what page did we just do? 9. Right, 9 with an arrow. Okay, so 9 is cool. 9 is a triple pocket, and this pocket that's in the middle will actually go all the way down, and then the pocket at the top stops. So with that, we have our base 8 by 8, and all we have is 3 pockets. So on pocket, the bottom pocket, I have to make sure I have this right. The bottom pocket is 6.5 by 3.5. We're going to score in 3 sides, cut your corners off, and deco edge that. The top pocket, which has a stop on it, we're going to do, again, 6.5 by 3.5, and we're going to score in 3 sides, diagonal cut the corners, score that. The middle pocket is going to be 6.5 by 3.5, and we're just going to score it. We're not going to score the bottom. We're just going to let that be open all the way. Now, here's what's crazy. We have to kind of put these together in a really kind of fun way to do it, of how we go down there. So we're going to go ahead and put, let me see, is this going to fit inside there? We're going to cut just like not quite a half an inch, and we're going to do that little notch. Again, about a half an inch and a little notch. I should have had you score a half an inch down here, because we want to make sure that we can put this one inside of the other one. And then this one is going to go inside there as well. And they're going to be a little bit tight. So let's go ahead, and we are going to first put our sides on this one. And what page am I on? I'm on page 10. And I do not have the paper for page 10. This is not the paper for page 10. This is the paper for page 10. So let's first put our sides on, so we can kind of then get an idea as to where we're going to put our paper. These are those weird sizes, 11 by 11/16, and that is just because we took what paper was there and I cut it, and that's why it's that size. We want to utilize our paper to the best of our knowledge. Best of our abilities, I guess, not knowledge. We're going to just center that over here. Burnish that down. That is crooked. You see, right when you see that's crooked, lift it up. Okay. That's the beauty of this glue. It's great glue. It gives you a minute to, but just a few seconds, but you still have the ability. Okay. So we're going to go put our bottom pocket down, and I am just going to glue the bottom of it right now. Scribble our glue on there. And we're going to, I'm going to match it up with our sides there so we have a little bit of white showing. This, because I think that'll be cool. I had the other one go down to the bottom, but I'm going to do that so it has a little bit of white showing. Okay. So this one is going to go inside of it. Okay. Okay, so let's just taper. I should have had you tape these. Let's just do that. Put that in my little bucket. And let's glue these sides down. Where is my paper here? Give that a good burnish. Give that a good burnish. We're going to take this one, and this one is going to go right down inside of it, and let's put it down there first. And that, we probably want it to go down a little bit farther than that, because I want it to be about 2 1/4 inches. So I'm just going to make a little tick right here. And I am going to cut up a little bit farther on my sides. So about, I know you probably can't see that, sorry. So this needs to go down deeper inside there than what we have. So what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you score, because you don't want to continue to push it down there. So I'm going to have you go to your scoreboard. I'm going to get my big one out. And I am going to have you score like, let's do an inch. So I'm going to score an inch on there. Don't fold it. Don't fold it. Just score an inch. Because what we're going to do is we're going to cut right at that score line, and then we're going to taper it just like we did before. Okay? Cut and taper, and that was 1 inch up. Okay? And I'll make that note on the screen so you guys will see that. So now when you set this one in here, it's going to go down, and that should be about 2 1/4 inches. So that one's going to go there. This one, we're going to have to do a little bit maneuvering as well, because I put this one up here a little bit. We're going to have to maneuver that one. So let's get this one down. And again, let's clip off the sides. Clip off those sides. And again, we're only gluing the sides, not the bottom, because this one's going to be open all the way down. Open all the way down. Again, so we have our score at 1 inch, so that we're going to go all the way down to, so that is going to go inside there very easily. And this one goes all the way down. All the way down. Okay, now this one, we're going to have to probably rescore it as well because it's way too much on the top. And we have that about 1 3/4. So let's do, so I'm going to make a mark at 1 3/4. Wow, that's like way up there. So let's score at 1 1/2 as well. So get out your scoreboard. We're going to score at 1 1/2. So on this one, we're going to cut again, and we're going to come down here, and we're going to again make our little piece. Again, I'm going to go over to that score, and I'm going to cut that off. Put all those in my little bucket. Now, what that leaves us is just like we did in our other stack pockets. Let me make this mark off there. So we are going to glue this down because we want it to be a stop pocket. So now when you set it in there, do you see how that just slides right in there now? And this will be a short pocket. You can put, maybe tags or something really small in there. Okay, so we're going to first glue down. Well, we have to glue all 3 at the same time. Okay, whoops. Sorry, let me trim our corners. So we have to glue all 3 sides down at once because we don't have the opportunity to just put the bottom piece in. Okay, so lift up your pocket and tuck that down in there. Again, you can have just little mementos or little cards that you'll put in the top. That will be kind of cute. If you want to have a, this would be a really deep. It would be really deep. So you could put a long thing in there if you don't want that on here. But if you don't want to stop that one, but I think that would just be too deep. Okay, so there's that. Now we have 4 pieces of paper that we're going to put on here. And let's just lay them out. The top is obviously going to be the smallest piece that we have. And that is just going to go in at the top. That's the one that's 3/4 inches deep. We don't even need one that deep with how I got this. Had I moved this down a little bit, we would have had a little bit more room at the top. But that's okay because it's still cool. Gonna match those. And then as I did these, I think, let's put this is 2 1/4. 2 1/4 I think goes in our middle one. Yes, this goes in our middle one. The 2 1/4 goes on our middle one. Finish that down. And then these are both 2 1/8. And so, and I have done the flower side, which is going to go on the top and bottom. Okay. We'll have to find some little tags, something to put in there, but it'll just be a little pocket. You can have little mementos, in there. And this one goes on there. Look at that. Super cool. This paper, again, is stunning. It would make a beautiful wedding photo with this paper, or what photo gift that you can give away to your BFF. It's beautiful. Okay, moving right along. We are on page 11, so we have 2 pages left. Page 11 is pretty cool. So we have a top flap. The inside has a pocket, and then I have 2 side flaps that go all the way across. And those side flaps right here will have some photo mats. And then I have a pocket down here. Okay. So we have our 8.5, whoops, you guys. I do this every single time. Make sure you write page 10 with an arrow. Okay, so we have our 8.5-inch base. We have our top flap. We have our, which is 6 by 6 1/8, and it is scored at 6 1/4 and 6 3/4. Or excuse me, not 6 3/4, 6 1/8. 6 and 6 1/8. We have our pocket for the inside of it, which is 7 1/4 by 3, scored on 3 sides and deco punched. Then we have our side flaps, which are both the same, which are 8 3/4 by 4, scored at 8 and 8 1/8. So you have 2 of those. There'll be one on the right and one on the left. And then we have our large pocket that actually goes on the bottom of this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our top flap on. And let's scribble, 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 scribble. That, again, we're just going to center on our paper. I don't think anybody's ever going to measure and make sure that you're perfectly 100% centered. So if they do, well, then just say, well, that's okay. If it's not centered. We don't do things perfectly. And again, handmade gifts, that's what it's all about. Okay, so we are going to glue our pocket down all the way to the bottom, burnish that. We're going to glue our sides. I hope you've enjoyed this album, you guys. It's absolutely stunning. I love the paper. And after we get our embellishments on there, it's going to be even cooler. Which again, remember, I do that as we get ready to add the pages. I'm going to put the pages in the book, and then we'll decorate them all at the same time. I like to get it built and then in my mind see what I'd like to see, but I don't, because I don't build them until, oh, wait. Lift that back up really quickly, because we have our bottom flap goes down. Lift it up, lift it up, lift it up. Okay, we need to put our flaps on first, and these we want to trim. And we're going to put our bottom left one on first. And that is going to go right over that, because well, you know what? That's okay. We'll put this one on the back. We will put this one on the back because we already have that adhered down. Well, now I have to, let me fix it. Don't panic. Don't panic. Just put it down. That's okay. I want it on the back anyway. Sorry, I forgot what I was doing. This one is going to go on the back because I don't want it interfering with my pocket. So we're going to put our left one on first, and it's going to go to the back. So you're going to glue on the top and then put that down right up against your score mark. Make sure you get it all the way to the bottom, because, and burnish that down, because this other one is going to go on top, and we want to make sure that they will open. Now this one you can put on top of the fabric here, or on the paper fabric. Wow. I was at quilting class today. I got fabric on the brain. And this one we're going to go right up to the top. And that should be, it should go right on there. Let's get all these pieces of paper in my bucket. And give it a good burnish. I have got glue all over my hand, you guys. Okay, let's put our pocket down. Now remember, when this pocket goes on the inside, do not want to bump it right up against that score line, because then it will make it cumbersome to close. So we're just going to glue the bottom. And again, about 1/16 of an inch away from the score line. Burnish it, burnish it. And then we're going to glue down our sides. Glue down our sides. Scribble, scribble, scribble. I hope you like to scribble. I've got glue everywhere on my hands. Push that down. We're going to grab our little plastic there. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Now, let's put our photo, let's see, where's my paper? So we are on page what? 11. Page 11. So let's put our photo mats down first. So our photo mats, we have 4 different photo mats. We have, on this photo side, we're going to put a photo mat that's 3 by 3 3/4. And then 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. Whoops, 3 3/4. This one has, okay, hold on. I have 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. Oh, excuse me. 3 3/4 by 3 1/2 and 3 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay. So let's go ahead and put those on here. Again, we're reverse matting basically because we have a white album, and so our photo mats are black. And on my black albums, of course, our photo mats are white. And we're just going to center that. And we're going to do our other one. And going to burnish that. And over on this side, then we have 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And again, when you write with pencil on them, you want to write on their light so you can go back and remove that. So when I get done, I will go and remove that. Remember last album, I had some of my photo mats already put down, which caused problems, so I don't want to do that now. Okay. Alrighty. Now let's take a look at our designer paper. So obviously our biggest piece, which is 7 3/4 by 6, is going to go right here. So let's go ahead and adhere that down. That scribble, that's a big piece. And that is just going to go right down on there. Burnish it good. Our pocket piece, which is 7 3/4 by 2. I just love this paper. Whoops. I just made that slide when I burnished it. We have this is for our inside of our pocket. Again, this is 6x4. You can use this side if you want. I had used this side, but you know, I think I'm going to use this this side right here because my pink paper is, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that. So I had said use the other side, but I have changed my mind. And we're going to do this paper. Lift up your paper there, or your pocket. And that's going to go, I get glue on it because when I pick up things, it gets glue on there. So it looks like my skin is peeling off. Hey, did you ever, when you were in school, put Elmer's glue on here and let it dry and then peels it off? We were disgusting back in those days. Okay, so this is 6 by 1.5. And this is for our pocket. Isn't that just beautiful? Okay, so now we have our top, which I'm going to open this up to put this down. And this is 6 by 5 7/8. It's going to go on there like that. Gosh, this is so gorgeous. I don't think Prima can make bad paper. They just, I think they really cater to the Victorian looking, antique-ish looking things. And after we go get our embellishments on here, my gosh, you guys, this is going to be just to die for, as you've already seen in the final layout anyway. But okay, and then we're going to add our 2 papers, and these 2 papers are exactly the same. They are 7 by 3 3/4. Okay, so I'm actually going to open this up because it would be easier for me to make sure we get that burnished on there. So as you see, I cut this one wrong as well. Yours is right. Mine is off by 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to leave mine with my tape on there to hold it in place. Yeah, so that one will have probably a gold strip on there as well. And that is why. Although the recipient probably wouldn't even know on that one because it's super hard to see. Again, I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to do it so that this one is easier to put on there. You guys, we're almost done. We will be hitting page 12 here in just a moment. I hopefully will make it in under an hour and a half. And then when you join me again, we will be putting our pages in our book because you've already made the cover, the waterfall, and the envelope closure. And then we'll be putting them in the book and in decorating them as well. So we're getting right down there. Okay, look at that. Oh my gosh. Again, this white paper was totally meant for this. So we open that up. We have a pocket. Photo mats. Lovely. Okay, 1 page to go. Whoops. Okay, 11 page up. And here's our last page. And this page has 3 flips. They're all to the left. They get bigger as they go down. And then our base page has a pocket on it. Okay. Now these photo mats are all the same size, and they are 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. So I just had them stuck down there so I wouldn't lose them. Now it's in this one. We have obviously our base page, and then we have our pocket that's going to go attached over here, and then we have our 3 photo mats. So our flap. So our pocket is our traditional 3.5 by 9, scored on 3 sides, Deco Punch on the top. Our first flap is 7 by 4 1/4, scored at 6 1/4 and 6 1/2. There is a 1/4 inch gusset. Our second one is 7 1/2 by 4 1/4, scored at 6 3/4 by 6 7/8. Our third one is 7 3/4 by 4 1/4, and it's scored only at 7 3/4. Now, it is super important that we put these down in the right order, otherwise it will not work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attach our pocket. And that's going on the side. Whoops. Too powerful when I do my burnishing the first time because it's still slippery, so be careful on that. Okay, so then we're going to do our sides. I hope you enjoyed these pages. I always try to find something new and fun. You know, don't kill me if I repeat some of my pages from my last album as we go along, but I try to find some new pages for you to enjoy and your recipients to enjoy, or maybe you are the recipient of your own album. I'm going to get that burnished down. Now, here's what's important. This is going to seem kind of weird to you, maybe. I'm going to trim off my corners. I am working on piece 1, which is 7 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 6 1/4 by 6 1/2, and it has a 1/4 inch gusset. That actually goes on first, okay? So we're going to go ahead and get the glue on our little flap, and it's going to go up in the top left-hand corner. So it's going to go down first, and it's going to fit across the top. Burnish that down. Our second one that goes in place is going to be the middle flap with the 1/8 inch gusset. Again, let's go ahead and trim those a little bit. And we're going to scribble our glue on there. And we're just going to center it on our album, or on our page, excuse me, on our album. And you're going to go just a hair back from that gusset. So let's just see that. See, here we go. Here we go. See how that works? Sweet. And then the last one we're going to put in has no gusset. And that one goes all the way to the bottom. Again, we're going to snip and snip. So I don't know if anybody's going to dress up for Halloween. I personally am not. My granddaughters here that are in the same town I am are going to be, I don't know, some vampires. So this one's going to come a little bit away because from the end, because you're going to line it up with this score line on your top your pocket above it. If you do not, it's going to cause a little bit of grief. So it's going to be about 1/16 of an inch in from the side, which is no problemo. Okay, sweet, huh? I think my two granddaughters here are going to be some kind of beautiful, exotic vampires. My other two granddaughters who live in Colorado, I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be. I've not heard from their parents, so I will have to ask them. Okay, so now before we put our decorative paper in, let's go ahead and put our photo mats in. So the first photo mat is going to fit right on there with no extra needed paper. So we're going to scribble our glue. Make sure you get it towards the sides there. Just center it. Burnish it down, which remember spreads that glue out. We're going to put the second one in. And the second one, we're gonna put it all the way over to the side. So when we come back to decorate, we're going to have a strip of paper, decorative paper there that we're going to pull from our stash. This stash was a little bit bigger than our other stash because I actually have 4 full pages left. I was going to try to make another gift portfolio. I just don't know if I have enough paper, so I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. I think we'll just make photo mats and go with that. Okay, now we're going to open up and put the third one on. And this third one, again, we're going to come all the way out to the side. So this is even going to be a bigger piece of paper that we're going to get when we come back and decorate. So I don't like to cut those little ones. I don't know, they seem to get lost, and we'll just pick it up our stash when we're doing our lovely decorating. Okay, isn't that cool? Okay, let's grab our decorative paper. We're almost done, folks. We're almost done with our pages. Good job, good job. I hope you've enjoyed this. Okay, let's go put our biggest piece of paper in first, and that is this, and it is 6 by 7 3/4. And it takes about a half a bottle of glue or so to do your pages. And so again, that's why I kind of like the, I buy the refill and just continue to fill up my smaller bottle. I don't like to be handling the bigger bottle to glue. Some people do, I don't. This is my favorite size to use. So burnish those down. And then let's look at our pocket, which is 2 by 7 3/4. And put that down there. I love this part of that paper. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, I'm going to open this up. Well, let me see. I guess I'm not. Now, we have 3 pieces, and again, they will all only fit on the right piece, so you can't make a mistake. So let's start with the biggest one, because I say that, because sure enough, I would do it. So this piece is 7 by 4. I would be the one that would put it on wrong. And let's burnish that down. And take our second one, which is 6.5 by 4. And it's going to be the pink side. So that piece of paper would have had an asterisk on it. You can sure use this side if you want. I wanted my 3 pieces here to have all 3 different papers. And then my last one, which I'm going to open up, is this paper, and it's 6 by 4. And voila! Look at that. Okay. Here is our page 12. Let's make sure we get page 12. My pokey tool. I almost stabbed myself with my pokey tool. Have you ever dropped the scissors and had it like go in your foot? My mom has dropped her X-Acto knife a few times, and she's been lucky it has not stabbed her or me. Okay, so here is page 12. So we have our flaps. We'll come back and fill these in with paper, and here's our pocket. How beautiful is that? Holy smokes, you guys. So we have got all 12 of our pages done now. When I come back to see you, we will be then putting these in our books, because we've already created our cover and our waterfall and our envelope closure. We've already created those. So next video, we'll put everything together and do the decorations on it. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm glad to be on this journey with you. And look at this. I want to just show you this little butterfly. Isn't that stellar? So we'll be putting butterflies on some of our pages. We will see you real soon. Thank you so much.